period, rebirth of English mind. Now close your eyes and imagine a world waking up from a long medieval slumber. Yes, the ink is fresh and the minds are restless. And the soul of the England is ready to speak. Not in Latin but in English. This is the Renaissance period, a time of rebirth, rediscovery and revolution in thought and art. A time when literature became a mirror of the human spirit. So what was the Renaissance? The word Renaissance means rebirth. It began in Italy in 14th century and reached England around 1500, lasting until 1660. But this was more than change in dates, it was change in worldview. The age of unquestioned belief and silent obedience was fading. People were beginning to think, to question, to speak. Now came the age of humanism, where man was not a sinner crawling towards salvation, but a seeker, curious, creative, and capable of shaping his own destiny. Let us see the literature in the Renaissance. English literature bloomed like never before. Writers turned to classical Greeks and Roman texts, but with a new voice which is bold, personal, and poetic. The theme shifted from religion devotion to love, beauty, power, ambition, and the human condition. This period saw the rise of individual, the celebration of reason, and the birth of modern English as a literary language. The English Renaissance unfolded in 4 distinct phases, each with its own literary flavor. First stands the Elizabethan Age. From 1558 to 1603, it is often called the Golden Age of drama and poetry as well. It was during this time that legendary writers like William Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, and Edmund Spenser transformed storytelling with their powerful plays and poetic masterpieces. Following this came the Jacobean Age, from 1603 to 1625, which took on the darker and more introspective tone. Drama became more tragic and metaphysical poetry emerged, with poets like John Donne exploring deep spiritual and philosophical themes. Next was Caroline Age. From 1625 to 1649, it is marked by a blend of courtly elegance and growing political unrest. Poets such as Robert Herrick and Thomas Carew wrote about love, loyalty, and the complexities of life during the time when England was on the brink of civil war. Finally, the Commonwealth period, from 1649 to 1660. It brought a dramatic shift, like public theatres were closed and dramas were silenced. However, this period saw a rise in the prose and religious writing, with John Milton standing out for his powerful work like Areopagitica, a passionate defense of freedom of speech. The English Renaissance gave rise to some of the greatest literary minds in history. They are the true giants whose work continued to shape literature and thought. At the heart of this era was William Shakespeare, who was often called the soul of the age, whose timeless plays and sonnets still influence our language and imagination. Alongside him stood Christopher Marlowe, the bold and rebellious playwright best known for his Dr. Faustus, which is a tale of ambition and consequences. Next, Edmund Spenser, who enriched English poetry with Faerie Queene, which is an epic that celebrates chivalry, virtue, and national pride. Then, John Donne, a master of metaphysical poetry, who explores the mysteries of love, death, and the divine with intellectual depth and emotional intensity. Meanwhile, Francis Bacon laid the foundation for modern scientific thought and essay writing, earning his place as the father of English essay. And the Renaissance drew to a close. John Milton emerged with a thunderous voice, crafting Paradise Lost, a monumental epic that would come to symbolize the grandeur and gravity of the era's final chapter. During the Renaissance, writers started thinking in a new way. One big idea was humanism, the belief that people have great potential and should explore life, learning, and emotions. Then came individualism, where characters in stories became more real. They had feelings, made choices, and were not just heroes or villains. They were humans. Then secularism also became important. Instead of only writing about religion, authors began to focus on everyday life, love, nature, and human problems. Finally, there was experimentation. Writers tried new styles like blank verse in poetry and created fresh ways to tell stories on stage. These changes made literature more exciting, more personal, and closer to the real life. The Renaissance didn't just change literature, it changed the English mind. It gave us the tool to think critically, to feel deeply, and to express boldly. It laid the foundation for everything that followed from the Enlightenment to the modern novel. As the Renaissance dawned, England found its voice. And in the next chapter, the voice would rise to a roar. On the stage, in the court, and in the heart of the millions. Join me the next time as we enter the Elizabethan Age, where a queen's reign and the poet's pen would shape the soul of a nation. Yes, thank you for watching.